Jumping to another topic, something that we share in the sense that we both lived away from America for a time in Paris. You were there for quite a number of years. I'm not sure exactly how many, but I think close to 8 or 10, if I'm not mistaken. 10 years. So what I want to know is, did you go because you wanted to leave America for a time, or because you wanted to be in Paris, or both?
I definitely wanted to leave America. I was in a miserable job in McGraw-Hill writing press releases about college textbooks and getting $75 a week, which was a little better than the Brooklyn Library, but still. And I applied for a Fulbright and actually got it. And I applied for France because I wanted to go to France, as most people do, I think.
Did the experience mark you? I mean, did you feel changed by it? Did it, not just in terms of perhaps the writing that you discovered there, but also a different way of living day-to-day life?
Oh yes, completely. I mean, it completely changed my life, as I'm sure it probably did.
It certainly did mine. I didn't stay for that long, 3.5 or 4 years, but...
But you went back then, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but not to live. But nevertheless, the experience of living abroad is remarkable, especially when you're young. It does give you a whole new perspective on, well, first of all, your own country, but then again, how there are other ways of living. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm sure this must have changed how you thought about writing as well, being there.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also, Gertrude Stein says that Americans in Paris get a unique view of their own Americanness that they would never get at home, you know. But being immersed in a language of another country, especially for me, who my poetry draws so much from the American vernacular, I found it very hard to write for the first year or so. But then when I finally did figure out how to do it, I seemed to have gained a kind of other muscle that helped me in ways I wouldn't have anticipated.
You ended the reading.
We're going to actually have to... Sure. There's one last question.
All right, okay, the last question then. You ended the reading with a translation, a very, very excellent translation of Rimbaud, which is, I have to tell everyone, really hard to do. Many people have translated Illuminations, but I thought this was a particularly fluid rendering of it. Well, you did spend all that time in France, and you are interested in French poetry, and you spent quite a bit of your so-called extra time translating poets. And I wonder, why do you do it? Is it out of a love for the particular work or poet that you've encountered? Is it a desire to share this with English readers, or both? Or has it somehow contributed to your own work, do you think, this activity of translation?
Well, it does affect one's own writing after a certain amount of time has gone by, as you know how about. By the way, thank you for your compliment, and I should reply that I love your translations, particularly the volume by Joubert, which is one of my favorite books.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. No one knows who Joubert is. Even the writer, French writer who lived in the late 18th, early 19th centuries and never published a book. He just wrote notebooks, which were published after his death. And I translated a selection of his poems back in the early 80s.
They're incredible. I never read them in French and I've read him first in your translation, which is so perfect and jewel-like that it's an amazement.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I think of Joubert all the time. For example, he'll say things like, people who never back down love themselves more than they love the truth. Think about it, it's absolutely true.
Those around today.
So the Rimbaud is coming out in 2011 from Norton,
Yeah.
I believe. And so we should all rush out and buy this, which is going to be a wonderful, wonderful addition to John's work. And no more time, so thank you all for coming.